Jack Dorsey is on Twitter today attempting and failing to troll Elon Musk for the delay in releasing the Twitter files, which were sabotaged by former FBI counsel James Baker while he was still an employee at Twitter. But yesterday, Musk fired him, as he should have. So here is Jack Dorsey, first thing this morning. If the goal is transparency to build trust, why not release everything without filter and let people judge for themselves, including all discussion around current and future action? Make everything public now. Jack, you must really think we have very short memories, because you were at Twitter just up until October? Let me just fact check myself. He actually left the board in May of this year. You could have disclosed this yourself. Now you're saying, oh, Musk is screwing this up. He's only screwing it up in the fact that James Baker intervened, who was the Twitter lawyer that you hired, Jack, intervened and was basically running interference on the release of the Twitter files. That's why the second edition of the Twitter files has not yet been released by Barry Weiss. It will be soon. But let's answer Jack's question. If it's just a big data dump, like a WikiLeaks type of thing, then the mainstream legacy failing media will then choose what to report. Whereas if he works with Barry Weiss and Matt Taibbi, then they can release the information in a way that makes sense to serialize it, almost like a podcast. You serialize it and you can then tell a story over a longer time, and you can highlight what you think was tremendously egregious. You could then at the end, and I think Musk will do this, will then just release everything kind of like WikiLeaks style at the end. And some people on Twitter are saying the exact same thing, because our own government and other bad actors could easily create some drama that would wipe it off the news cycle for weeks. Drip method much more effective. And obviously, this is just a massive gaslighting by Jack, as Joel Petlin points out. Jack implies that if he was still in charge, he would have released the embarrassing emails showing how the content was banned for political reasons. This, of course, ignores the fact that it happened on Jack's watch, and he did nothing about it, because theoretically he knew nothing about it, right? From what we know from Twitter Files, the first edition that came out late Friday, was that Jack was out of the loop somehow during the whole suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story in October of 2020. Somehow he didn't know about it. It was all Gad, or however you pronounce her name, Gadde. She knew about it, but somehow Jack was off smoking pot or whatever. I don't know. Where was the trust and transparency then, when Jack Dorsey was actually at the helm? It wasn't there. And yes, E.B. Miller, exactly. Jack, if you're into transparency now, apparently you're all about transparency now, why don't you go and give a big interview? Go on Joe Rogan or whatever. I'll interview you. I'll ask all the questions. Go to someone, sit down and do an extended 2-hour interview and disclose everything. Why don't you do that, Jack? I mean, you can tell quite a story here. How about you didn't know about all of this? Yeah, we'd like to hear that. In the end, I totally agree with this guy, Matt McPherson, some type of computer programmer, probably wildly more successful than I am. Releasing everything at once is too overwhelming for the collective mind. That is true. Absolutely. Strategically better to drip it. We already mentioned this. The Twitter files have much more lasting impact, giving huge traction for these journalists, and also for the whole Substack independent journalism movement. Remember, over the weekend, as we covered in one of our prior videos, that Elon Musk already promised that he's going to release this data, all the records, all the Twitter files, both present and future, and past for that matter. He's going to release all that. But first, it'll probably come out as a serialized story, and then, more like then, there'll be like the WikiLeaks dump at that point. All right, so from Plymouth, America's hometown, I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack in Massachusetts. Behind enemy lines. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.